Stable Moments locations and program directors will come to me and ask, hey, Rebecca, do you really think it's realistic that we ask mentors to mentor and volunteer for 1 hour a week for 10 months? That just seems like a huge commitment, and I am finding that most people are not interested in making that much of a commitment. And my answer is always, well, your problem is thinking that that is huge commitment and that's too much to ask, because I don't think it's too much to ask. And I think that we are simply giving people an opportunity to play an active role in the lives of children that we have a duty to play a role in. Children that are abused, neglected, that are abandoned by their parents, that have gone into Department of Children and Families custody. They need housing. We did away with orphanages a long time ago, right? And we've decided that we're going to put kids in foster care because as a society, we are just so great that we are going to offer up our homes when people are in need. When kids need housing and care and nurturing and love, we're going to offer up our homes and they can just come stay with us. Well, the truth is, we don't have enough. People are not stepping up and doing that. People might say, if you or I read an article where a child stays in their biological family too long and they are abused over a long period of time, and then finally they go to the ER and they pass away because of their injuries and the abuse that they suffered in their biological home, we're the first ones to get up in arms and, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. There should be protections against this. Why didn't they do something? They should have done something. And who is they? They is Department of Children and Families. They is the 20-year-old that just graduated college as a social worker and is trying to manage a caseload of 54 kids and see them all and needs to do reports. It all rides on her shoulders? No! They is us, the state. We said that we would take these kids into our home, that foster families would be available, that kids would not be sleeping in Department of Children and Families lobbies and put up in hotels without parents because we don't have enough foster homes. Okay, the situation is dire. And we get to sit in our bubbles. Like, we don't hear about the foster care crisis. We get to sit in our bubbles and just not deal with that issue, that problem. And that issue just perpetuates constant, generational trauma and new generations that let their kids go into care. And without us stepping up, there is no solution. And I believe that the solution is programs like Stable Moments, not where we just contain a kid, but where we actually pour into and invest in the individual child so that we show them that they matter, they develop their self-worth, and they start believing that they matter and making good choices, and start believing that they're worth making good choices. And maybe eventually, if we show up, I know we want a silver bullet. We want to just write a check. We want someone else to just take care of this problem. But I'm telling you, the problem may be best solved by actually just showing up and spending time. Year over year, telling somebody that they're worth it, telling them that you'll be there and that you'll show up over and over again, regardless of what they are doing or regardless of your schedule. Okay? They're worth it. And that's all they want you to do. That's all you need to do. So when people say to me, it's kind of a lot, it seems a little selfish, honestly, because this is an opportunity to just give an hour a week. It's an opportunity to not have to not actually have a kid in your home, not take on a huge responsibility. It's just an opportunity to pour into and play an active role. So it's actually a very small commitment. 1 hour a week that we've set up for you in such a structured way that you're going to know exactly what to do, and that the experience will be meaningful and therapeutic for the kid and for you. This is a journey like anything else that we do. If we're going to exercise, if we're going to eat right, if we're going to carve out time in our schedule to meditate or to do any of these things that get us more aligned, with Source or with God or whatever we want for our lives, with our families. This is one of those things. We block out 1 hour to serve, to give. And I understand if you have littles at home, if you have little babies right now and it's just not a good time for you. I understand if you have a job where you travel and you literally could not show up for a kid every week for an hour because your travel schedule is such. I get it. And I actually don't want you to commit if you fall into a category where, you're caring for somebody else. You're already doing service. Maybe you already volunteer several hours a week for another organization. Like, you're doing your service. That's fine. But for the most people, they may just have their job and they may not have little kids at home. They may not have these other obligations, but they still feel like, once a week's kind of a lot and I just don't want to be boxed in. And I would say to please, I'm begging you to shift your perspective on that. This is an opportunity to show up and you are going to get way more out of this. Or at least as much out of this than the kid does. And just try it. Just do 1 9-month session. Just do 1 9-month once a week and see what you learn. See if you feel better. See if after the next 9 months you go, nope, I'd like my freedom back. But at least you can say you did your part. You recognize that kids, orphans, people that are abused, neglected, children that are abused, neglected, and have been abandoned, that they're the responsibility of us. That they are worth it. They are worth an hour of our time. Like, to me, as much as people say, like, oh, it would be difficult to actually commit to an hour a week, it's difficult for me to say out loud that these children are not worth an hour of my time. So if you're saying they're not worth an hour of my time, then I hope that it's because your time is already used in such an intentional way that you feel good about not choosing to give an hour of your time. I just don't want my program directors to believe that they cannot lean on their community. I really feel like these people have gone out, like they have purchased a course and they have licensed a program and they have done all the advertising and they have put in the blood, sweat, and tears and they've put in the work and they've made relationships with people to serve kids in your community. And now all they need is some mentors to come and serve kids. And now they're feeling disheartened because they're like, and disappointed because they're like, nobody wants to help in this community. I got the kids together. I got the resources together. I got the place. I got the timing. I figured out all the administrative stuff. All I need them to do is show up for 1 hour a week. And their community's not there. Not even asking for money. So I really do feel like this isn't too much to ask. And I'm asking you to go ahead and commit to one kid, 1 hour a week for 10 months and see if it doesn't bring you more peace. It doesn't bring you a look into an awareness of an issue that is happening in your backyard. These children are in your backyard, and we cannot feel good about reading an article online about a kid that was abused and that fell through the cracks without doing something about it. That's a lot better than commenting on that article that somebody should have done something. What are you doing? Do you believe that it is all of our responsibility to do something for children in our society that are unwanted, abused, neglected, abandoned? Do you believe that that's all of our responsibility? If you do, can you commit to 1 hour a week? I hope your answer is yes, and I hope that you join us on this journey because I truly believe if we invest moments, stable moments where these kids can see healthy relationships, how adults and children can interact together in a way that is healthy. If we can show these kids that they matter, that they have intrinsic value, that we don't expect anything of them. They're good enough that the way that they are. And then we can start building some life skills and they can build a winning streak and get confident. Start believing in themselves. They can come back year after year, and don't worry, you don't need to commit year after year. They can switch up mentors after that first year. But if they can come back and continue to have that experience, and then they can make healthy transitions into adulthood, and they can be self-sustaining, productive members of society that when they have children do not enter care. These are the upstream efforts that we need to do. We can yell all day long about the problem and that there's a crisis and that kids are falling through the cracks and we can just keep shouting that, because I've been shouting it for 15 years now. Or we can just do something, an hour, a week. Get out of the shouting and get into intentional, get into the kids' lives and do your best. That's all we ask. If you've listened to this, I appreciate you. I really believe that together we can end the foster care crisis. Thanks for being here.